Evidence of a covered tunnel is found by Gary. Could the numerous unresolved questions be resolved by this hidden tunnel? To learn more, keep watching. In a current episode of The Curse of Oak Island, the team, which also consists of archaeologists Dr. Aaron Taylor and Miriam Emerald, geoscientist Dr. Ian Spoon, and metal detector expert Gary Dran, examined stone walkways and a potential cellar feature close to the swamp's eastern border. During their investigation, Gary and David uncover a signal embedded in a wall, which eventually results in the finding of a huge caster wheel hidden beneath. Gary speculates that this wheel would have been used on Oak Island during a tunneling project. Adding to the other finds of tunneling equipment on the island, Gary finds evidence of a hidden tunnel, which raises the question of whose responsibility it was to place the item there in the first place and whose it was to find it afterwards, the original depositors or the later searchers. The team plans to carry out more investigation into the caster wheel in light of this discovery in the vicinity of the marsh's eastern edge. Metal detectorist Gary Dran and the rest of the team are searching for stone and used a metal detector and discovered not one but two distinct treasures in the general area of Oak Island shoreline. He made his first discovery. Dran and his team found a button from an officer's uniform from the 17th century. Although it is unknown to what branch of the armed forces it may have belonged, the military, on the other hand, might have buried some of the island secrets. According to some evidence, Dran and his colleagues made the second discovery that day. Speaking, the history of treasure hunting on Oak Island can be traced back to the time the money hole was dug.